Hi guys, so before we begin, I just wanted to say that I am super behind on the Kibbe emails, and at this time I will be taking a break from responding to any more, but I will catch up. So if you've already emailed me, I will get back to you. I'm about a week or two behind at this point, so yeah, very sorry about that, but I will get back to you. Also, another announcement, I am planning on building a website, so that's what I've been working really hard on, so keep an eye out for that. I'll leave a link down below once it's available and up, and so if you guys have anything specific that you want to see on the website, obviously let me know, give me suggestions. Right now I'm thinking of obviously having clothing recommendations and color recommendations as well. So let's get into the content of the video. So I was asked what kinds of lines complement every single body type, and is there such a thing? So I thought about it a lot, and I made this video. So let's discuss what happens when we do not wear the lines that complement us first. So here, Keira Knightley on the left is a dramatic, and she's not wearing her lines, and in contrast to that soft frilly dress, her lines look even more severe, and also she looks a bit separate from the dress. The same thing for Drew Barrymore on the right. She is a romantic, and she's wearing more sort of dramatic, maybe some Gamine type lines, more yang, and she looks a bit puffy, a bit separate from the look. So I think everyone is thinking, oh, well, I kind of want to avoid this, but I don't know my Kibbe type. It could be anything. Now, this is not for people who know that they know they're a romantic, or they know that they're a natural, or they know they're a Gamine, but they don't know which type of Gamine, or they know they're dramatic, but they don't know if they're soft dramatic or dramatic. This is for people who truly just have no idea what to do, no idea what their type is, because obviously if you know that you're Gamine, for example, but you don't know if you're soft Gamine, or flamboyant Gamine, just simply wear Gamine clothing. The same for the other types. If you know your main type, then just wear that main type's clothing, and that's going to look good on you. It's not going to look the absolute best, but it's not going to look bad for sure. So, but this is for the people who genuinely do not know what to do at all, no idea, and now let me explain what I think on this topic. So is there a type of clothing that complements every body type? So I thought a lot about it. I think the answer is no. There's not a type of clothing that complements every single body type, but there is a type of clothing that is at least not going to work against your body type. The way I think of it, at least I hope to not look worse when I put my clothes on. If my clothing doesn't complement me, I at least don't want it to work against me, right? So what happens when we wear our body type? So if we have mostly yin lines and we wear yin clothing, those yin lines in the clothing are going to accentuate the yin lines of our body. In the same way, dramatic lines in our body, dramatic lines in our clothing. So whatever is on our body, we want to mimic in our clothes. And for a gamine, now that's a very loud look because it's unclear if yin or yang is dominating the body, right? So it's sort of interesting to see someone who looks like this, and that contrast of yin and yang should be reflected in the clothes as well. And then the yin aspects of the clothes will bring out the yin aspects of the body, and the yang aspects of the clothes will bring out the yang aspects of the body. And if someone wears clothes that are separate from them, for example, a dramatic wears romantic clothes, then those romantic lines are going to look very separate because the entire dramatic body is quite yang. And so it's sort of like, oh, this romantic, these yin lines are not supposed to be here. This looks very off. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So how do we avoid that if we literally have no idea what our body type is? Well, there is a type of line that is neither yin nor yang. There is a type of look that's neither yin or yang, and I'm sure you know what I'm about to say by now, and those lines are the classic lines. So they are not too thick, not too thin, not too heavy, not too light, not too rounded, not too angular. They're basically neutral. They do not create contrast simply because they are not yin and they're also not yang. They are a blend of the two. So in my opinion, your best bet is simply to wear classic lines. If you don't know at all what your body type is, look up the recommendations for classics and wear that, and it's going to look better on you than let's say if you're a dramatic and you're wearing romantic, or if you're a Gamine and you're wearing romantic. And now I'm going to give some celebrity examples, of course, so you guys will see for yourselves what I'm saying here. So first of all, of course, classic lines look best on a classic. Classic lines don't take sides, they are neutral. They're saying, you know what? We're not yin, we're not yang, we're not taking sides, we're just here, and we're just gonna let the body be as it is. And that is what classic lines do. So let's take a look at Penelope Cruz. She is flamboyant Gamine, and I think she looks great in these two pictures. And these are some sort of Gamine-ish lines. Her hair is a bit messy, flamboyant Gamine type. So okay, so she looks great here. But now let's take a look at what happens with her when she wears things that are completely off, completely not her own lines. So what happens is on the left, she's wearing maybe some sort of soft natural look, maybe some romantic elements there, and on the right, she's wearing a soft dramatic look. And both of these do look just a tiny bit separate from her. She looks just a little bit awkward in both of those looks. And now when we take a look at her in just some classic lines, then those lines look, again, not the best on her, but they definitely don't look bad. I mean, she can wear these and she looks fine. She doesn't look too awkward or strange or anything like that. They are just there. They are neutral, and they're just letting her body, the yin-yang balance of her body is left alone by the classic lines. So the classic lines don't fight against the yin-yang balance of her body. Next we have Keira Knightley. So she is a dramatic, and she looks pretty good in both of these looks, I think, and especially that bob haircut there looks quite nice on her. Now we see her not really wearing her lines, so on the left maybe some romantic lines there, in the middle some Gamine lines, and actually on the right we can see her wearing classic lines, and I think that classic look on her is, again, not bad at all. Her body is just left alone to have its own yin-yang balance. And now we have more examples of her wearing some relatively classic lines. I know, it's not perfect. It's really difficult to find exact recommendations. So yeah, that dress in the middle maybe has a bit more angularity, maybe a tiny bit more dramatic, but anyway. Okay, so now we have Jenna Coleman. She is soft Gamine, so she looks great in these two outfits and that high neckline, etc. She looks very good, and soft Gamine really suits her. But now let's take a look at what happens when she does not wear her own lines. So as you can see on the left, she has some maybe soft dramatic hair, and on the right maybe a bit more of a romantic type dress, or some different elements there. It's not really exactly romantic either, but I think she looks a bit awkward in both. But when you take a look at her in some classic lines, it's not her best. Again, these are not her best looks. I think the soft Gamine look is the best look, but this looks okay because the classic lines simply leave her body alone, and we can just see the body. They don't work against her. They don't work for her either, but they just don't work against her. So next we have Tyra Banks, soft dramatic, and I think that soft dramatic hair looks amazing on her in the picture where she's wearing the black, and that dress also has some elements of soft dramatic there, and again it really complements her body and her curves. And now let's take a look at what happens when Tyra Banks doesn't wear her lines. So on the left maybe a bit more I don't know, maybe flamboyant natural a bit. In the middle, maybe a bit more Gamine, and on the right, maybe a mix of sort of Gamine, theatrical, romantic type stuff going on there. And it does look a bit separate, a bit strange. And now when we look at her wearing classic lines, it looks okay, right? Again, not her best look, but it looks okay. And maybe, again, it's not perfect that in the white dress there, her hair is a bit more tousled, voluminous, and then on the right, it's a bit more dramatic classic maybe, but anyway, let's look at Julia Roberts. Okay, so Julia Roberts, flamboyant natural, we all know this, and she looks great in deconstructed lines, some geometrics maybe, very relaxed look. So what happens to her when she doesn't wear her lines? So here we have her wearing a some sort of theatrical romantic look on the left, maybe some soft gamine in the middle, and some sort of gamine on the right as well. And I think they all look very separate from her, especially that theatrical romantic, and the middle look I think especially looks a bit awkward on her. And now when she wears classic lines, just simple, it's not that bad. It's not, again, I think she looks great. Okay, these people all look great. They're all celebrities. They all look great. But I think that, this look is it's good. I mean, it just lets her be exactly as it is. And so now we have Drew Barrymore, and she is a romantic, very dainty, looks good in rounded things, rounded edges. Her hands are very dainty, etc. Now on the left, she's wearing soft dramatic lines, and for those of you who are thinking, oh well, soft dramatic, theatrical, romantic, whatever, they seem similar. This is what happens when a romantic wears soft dramatic lines. It's too much for her. The shapes are too large. She's too dainty for the look. It looks a bit awkward. And now we can take a look at her on the right, and she also looks a bit separate from that dress. So that is more, I guess, more of a gamine dress, and it looks a bit separate from her. And when we look at her in the classic lines, she looks pretty good. I mean, they're not doing her any favors, so to speak, and I mean that literally. They're not working for her, they're not accentuating anything, but they're also not working against her softness either. It's just a neutral look, and we can just see her softness simply as it is. Finally, I had to include some style icons. So here we have Marilyn Monroe. Of course, her hair and makeup are pretty romantic, but her clothes that she's wearing have a bit, a bit classic lines. They're obviously not romantic. They're pretty much classic, and she looks pretty good here. I mean, she looks fine. The same with Audrey Hepburn. Of course, her hair and makeup are a bit more flamboyant gamine, but her turtleneck is classic lines, and it's not taking anything away from her. It's also not accentuating anything. It's just letting us see her face simply as it is. So that is it, you guys. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Did you enjoy this? Do you find that you look all right in classic lines? Basically, what do you think? Any video suggestions, anything like that? Let me know, and let me know what you want to see on my website as well. And thanks for watching.